Hi everyone, welcome to our video about virtual design and construction. In the following, we will introduce you our latest technology on the design of our project, the iRoom. Let me tell you some background first. As invited by the Department of Real Estate and Construction Management, we are delighted to be in charge of the addition and alternation of the Room 531 of the Knowles Building, the University of Hong Kong. The room is about 50 square meters and is located near the lift lobby. We will introduce our concepts and schedules for the iRoom with the aid of 3D diagrams, photos, and walkthrough videos and 4D videos. The proposed construction period will be scheduled in summer. As said before, VDC is a relatively new technology where not everyone is familiar with it. So before going into the details of the design and schedule of the project, we will first talk about what is VDC and its values and limits. VDC is, in simple terms, VDC is to use a computer to visualize and manage design and construction process. 3 parts are included in the model: product, organization, and process, and it is referred to POP model. The product means what kinds of materials and equipments are required in the project. For the organization, it illustrates what stakeholders will be involved and their interrelationship. And finally, the process is the steps and schedules of the project. Different softwares will be used, for example, Revit, SketchUp, and Microsoft projects. Now we will talk about the values and limitations of VDC. In university education, the value is that it can equip students better because VDC is the trend of the construction industry. However, using VDC requires high computing power, and the student's computer may not have that high computing power. Now we will talk about the values in practice. Firstly, using VDC can enhance the knowledge exchange between professionals, so that there will be faster and easier exchange of information. For the limits, different companies have different technological constraints, and the IT departments may not be fast enough to implement the BIM. So this is the limit. Now, we will show you our design. The concept used in iRoom is called 2-in-1. In the room, nearly everything is movable. The 2 rooms are divided by a movable wall, so whenever required, the separating wall can be removed. This allows the increase of the maximum number of people that the room can accommodate. Besides, chairs and desks are all with wheels, so they also can be moved. In addition, despite high price, we would use a mobile smart board system, so users can view the smart board at the best angle. Secondly, the room layout is flexible. It is because there is the movable wall. Normally, that wall will be closed. In this way, 2 small rooms will be formed. And if necessary, the middle wall would be open and the whole room would become a big room. This is incredible. It is because it is very flexible. After you realize our design concept, we will now show you a 4D video of the whole construction process.
The iRoom project. The iRoom will be situated at the room 531, the crit room on the 5th floor of No's building. It aims at providing interactive learning facilities. Its construction is divided into 3 phases, namely alternation, addition, and equipment installation. There are 4 key dates: the date for construction commencement, 8 and 8 works, equipment and facilities, and project completion. For the alternation work, it involves the removal of existing furniture and drillings of holes on the wall for future installation of doors. For the addition work, cable trays covering every wires will be installed directly hanging under the ceiling. New electricity sockets will be made to meet the future power needs, which is necessary for the smart boards and other computer equipment. Folding wall will be erected at the exact middle of the room, followed by the installation of doors. Perforated boards are to be placed throughout the perimeter of the iRoom to provide the best sound insulation against noise. Carpets are laid on the floor thoroughly to give a sense of ground and modernity. False ceiling are placed on the false ceiling grid to cover the ceiling surface walls, and ceiling lights are to provide the necessary illuminance for working and studying within the room. Also, CCTV monitoring system will be installed in the iRoom to ensure the safety of the room. For the equipment installation, desks and chairs, smart boards, sound amplification system, and computer control are all be placed in the well-designed room. Our iRoom is giving his life now. The room is the prime choice for learning and conference, having the ability to accommodate large number of people, having the best design and equipment. The iRoom is really one advance to the room design history. Not only can it be a conference room, the folding wall makes it capable of turning into 2 smaller meeting rooms. It realizes the dream of providing excellence and high-end services to our potential users. iRoom project is now completed. Thank you.
Wow, the video just now is quite inspiring and quite good, I would say. So we would jump to the functional objectives of the room. There are 5 basic functional objectives of iRoom. Firstly, the room should be able to accommodate 2 groups of people at the same time. Secondly, the room can facilitate the teaching and training of multidisciplinary VDC and BIM model. Thirdly, the room should have facilities that can prevent unwanted voice to disturb the occupants. Then the room must provide enough illumination, internet services, electricity, and so on. Lastly, the room has to provide furniture for placing notebook computers and notes. Based on the requirement listed above, a POP model should be built to facilitate project managing before the project starts. There are 3 roles in the model which forms the main frame, which is product, organization, and process. And for each role, it is divided into 3 columns: function, form, and behavior. The detailed description of the information will be put into each item. For example, for the product, we will have the functional requirement of iRoom and the items and the dimensions of those products. For organization, the task to be done, the responsible actors together with the predicted number of actors required for the task will be included. And for the process, the task or objectives, the related actions, and the duration of the action will be provided. We will discuss the POP model one by one if you don't understand. There are some crucial elements used in our project. Our very first objective is to allow 20 people meeting at the same time. Hence, we would provide a large conference room space. The movable wall ensures the flexibility of room layout so that the large room can be broken down into 2 smaller rooms. We then can facilitate the teaching and training by providing the smart board. In addition, we want to minimize the impact of noise. We would insulate the room with perforated panels and provide absorbent materials to the movable wall. To provide enough illumination, we installed several ceiling lights. The cable trays enclosed internet cables and electricity wires, while the speakers provide acoustic amplification. So let's move to the organization. There will be many stakeholders, for example, project managers, modeling facilitators, contractors, owner representatives, students, professors. For example, project manager would manage the group and resolve issues. The contractor would build the iRoom, hire men, and manage construction workers, and so on. Finally is the process. Let me highlight a few key process. For example, at the design stage, we would draw the design in the computer, and then we would hire workers, and at last we would install equipment. And for the product, we will talk about the components. For example, the smart board. the cable trays, security cameras, false ceilings, ceiling lights, speakers, movable wall, speakers and microphone, carpet tiles, desk and chairs, perforated panels. As I have mentioned before, there are two layouts. The first is the conference room layout, and second is the meeting room. You can see that the layout can be changed easily because all the main components are all movable. And this is the summary. So here comes our organization chart. For example, the owner representative will represent the owners to discuss the design, process, and cost. For the mediated users, the students would be the main group users of the room, and the professors will be there to provide lectures, tutorials, and assistance to the users. And the project managers would manage the group and resolve issues. And the quantity surveyors, of course, to control the construction cost. For the architect, they would design the iRoom, and the modeling facilitator, they would seek the POP and VDC model, their consistency. And for the purchasing manager, they would purchase equipment and furniture. And the contractor would build the iRoom, hire the workers. In order to have more elaboration on the process in POP model, a Gantt chart will be created. In the Gantt chart shown, there are 10 major tasks involved, including project take-off meeting, project design, assessment of project, design review, recruitment, and so on. The chart also provides important information, for example, duration of work, person in charge, and the materials. For instance, the equipment installation will last for 12 days from 23 of August to 9 of September. The contractor and his workers will involve in it, placing a smart board, desks and chairs, and so on. One interesting point to notice is that there would be overlapping of 10 major tasks. It would save a lot of precious time. Up to this point, our team has built a POP model, a 3D BIM model, and an organization model, which is indicated by a red vertical line. After talking so much, is there any business purpose using POP models? Of course there are. The POP model would provide information. For the 3D BIM model, they would give different stakeholders of the project a simulated view of the room before and during the construction stage of the project. For the organization model, they would let different actors to know their responsibilities. We can let different actors to cross-reference of information using the POP and BIM model. Besides, we would give different actors simulated views of their responsible building elements in the iRoom. We can give more detailed structure of the actors and their responsibilities. The three models together, which is POP model, BIM model, and the organization model, can facilitate project managers to monitor the projects at different stages and deal with mistakes and responsibilities. Every project consists of a certain degree of risk, with no exception to this one. In order to understand the whole picture of it, we will discuss the potential risk and relevant recommendations. There may be unachievable requirements and specifications from the client, and there will also be some uncertainties. For example, the availability and cost of materials. There may be delay in transporting the materials to the site, and for the relationship between different stakeholders, they may have conflicting objectives. For example, the architect will stress on the design and aesthetics of the iRoom, where it may not be the case for the engineers, quantity surveyors, and the client, at the cost of construction will be expensive, and it may not fulfill certain statutory regulations. To deal with the problem, the project manager will have the largest responsibilities for the purpose of coordinating different stakeholders. He may need to strike a balance between different parties, especially managing the whole project team and negotiate with the client. The contractor will make sure the whole process is on schedule without delay. The client is actually the decision maker. He will provide his standard and requirement of the output, either in brief or in detail. The project manager should try his best to provide an output with the most compatible with the client requirements and will. This can be done by communication and coordination. Therefore, both the client and project manager play an important role in decision making. This is the reason why we need to do the models. It can show the potential conflicts between tasks and try to address the problems with corresponding solutions. One way the models can help is to clarify the responsibilities of various stakeholders. In addition, the model can show the relationship between different elements, including product, process, and organization with its function, form, and behavior. Certain adjustment to the model and analysis will also be conducted. For example, the level of details of the model will be increased from time to time to solve problems due to inadequate detail, avoid confusion and misunderstanding. Besides, buffering time should be reserved in each of the process, so that even if there are any unpredictable events which cause delay in some stages of the project, the overall process and completing time will not be delayed. In order to deal with all uncertainties, a contingency fee is set aside for an expected occasion. If viable, prepare a backup plan to ensure the project is on track. After hearing the whole planning process of our design and construction of the iRoom, to conclude our video, our project team members want to share their experiences and comments towards the whole project. Thanks.
After finishing the project, I've learned how to prepare a POP model and Gantt chart. While working on the POP model, I found that the model actually could help separating the tasks to be done and could clearly show the responsible actors for the task, and hence could lead to effective project management. I think the involvement of 3D modeling work into this scenario is great, and it will definitely become a trend in the construction industry. However, I was not responsible for 3D modeling work, as distinctive roles were assigned. I didn't learn much about the technique in using the software for modeling. If this scenario could be a bit longer, or focus more on the 3D modeling work, then we can have more time to learn how to use the software, and I would love to learn more about that. Thank you.
Throughout the past month, I and my team worked on the iRoom project, and I learned more about the VDC and the BIM models. And I particularly do much research on the POP model, and I find out that it's quite useful in the construction industry because it can seek coordination between different parties and staffs. and our team has different specialities among ourselves, and we demand our jobs and tasks in between us according to it. And I'm quite amazed with some of us having capability of creating very beautiful 3D models. And I hope in my spare time I can learn from these guys so that I can also create some very beautiful models using the computer. And after the project, I think that the VDC and the BIM models are very useful in the construction industry, because especially for the BIM models, it can let the client, the contractor, as well as the quantity surveyor has a chance to glimpse through the visualize the final product before they really make their final decision, and this can help to solve any unpredictable problems, and it's very useful. And thank you very much.
I think this project is quite challenging, as there are many things have to be done in short time, such as the POP model, 3D models, Gantt chart, personal reflection, etc. This project has made me learn more about how the new technology and software could help in the pre-construction stage and the presentations of the design in a more interactive way.
This is my first time using the computer software to do the BIM model and the POP model. I think it's quite interesting to build a model by myself for the first time. As I have no previous knowledge of these models, I self-learned them through watching online videos and my classmates' helps. I quite enjoyed this process because it gave me a great satisfaction after I accomplished the model with my own efforts. I realized that those softwares are quite user-friendly and they can make beautiful renderings easily. One of my problems is that our group has a too clear division of labor. Every one of us has its own duty and we are not very clear of what others are doing. So I think that for the next project, we would have our division of work so that we would know more about each other.
Hello guys, this is Tony, your video director. Basically, the process of producing the project is quite memorable. First to notice is the challenge we have to overcome in designing a project of certain size from scratch. Say, using the POP, the BIM, the Gantt chart, the organization chart. By knowing the functions and relations between different models, surely gives me a good insight towards the VDC. Second thing would be the use of different softwares. For example, the Revit, Netflix, Showcase, Microsoft Project, Premiere Pro, Camtasia Studio, and so on. This is the first time I mixed all these programs to finish a certain and a solo task. That's really amazing. At last, I would like to give my special thanks to our facilitator, Dr. Carl, my teammates for their advices and efforts. Also, I want to thank my family to provide such wonderful computing power support. Without them, the project, the video you are looking at, would be hardly possible.